You ever find yourself joining a huge line for a restaurant and you have no idea if the food's even any good? Or maybe you've bought something just because it had that bestseller sticker on it? Well, today we're exploring that invisible force behind those decisions, herd behavior. We're going to break down how this really deep instinct shapes our world, from our little daily choices all the way up to the global economy. Let's get right into it. So let's start with the big question, one you've probably asked yourself a bunch of times. Why do we follow the crowd? I mean, is it just easier? Is it some kind of smart shortcut? Or is there something deeper going on, something baked into our human programming? Okay, first things first, let's get a clear definition of what we're actually talking about here. Herd behavior, put simply, is when people in a group start acting together, but, and this is the key part, without any one person calling the shots. Think about it. There's no leader yelling out orders. It's just this collective action that kind of appears out of nowhere. Now, to really get a grip on why we follow the crowd, we've got to look at where this whole instinct even started. And you know, the origin story doesn't begin with us. It starts in the animal kingdom with a really cool concept called the selfish herd. What's so wild about this idea, which comes from the biologist W.D. Hamilton, is that it totally flips our usual thinking about group safety. He argued that a fleeing herd isn't some big team effort, not at all. Instead, every single animal is selfishly, desperately trying to shove its way to the center of the group, basically using its neighbors as a living shield against whatever's chasing them. So the main takeaway here is that what looks like this elegant, coordinated movement is actually an illusion. It's not teamwork. It's just the messy result of hundreds of individuals all acting selfishly at the exact same time. It's pure, raw survival instinct. Okay, so how does this primal, selfish instinct carry over into our modern lives? I mean, are we really thinking about survival when we're picking a coffee shop? Well, while the stakes are definitely lower, the basic mechanism of just following everybody else is surprisingly similar. In humans, a huge driver for this is something called an information cascade, and it's a really powerful psychological shortcut. It kicks in when we're not sure what to do, so we just assume that if a ton of other people are doing something, they must know something we don't. And just like that, we ignore our own gut feeling and just copy them. And this little story illustrates the idea perfectly. So, imagine two empty restaurants right next to each other. The very first person's choice, it's a total guess, a coin flip. But then, the next couple sees someone inside restaurant A and thinks, maybe they know something. It must be better. So they go to A, too. And now the next group sees a small crowd forming, and that assumption gets even stronger. Before you know it, restaurant A is packed, and restaurant B is still empty, all because of a chain reaction that started with one single random decision. You know, choosing a restaurant is pretty low stakes. But what happens when you throw real fear and panic into that equation? That's when this mental shortcut of ours can twist into something destructive, even deadly. When we're under extreme stress, our herding instinct just goes into overdrive. As you can see from these characteristics, all rational thought just shuts down. The individual brain gets completely overwritten by this collective panic. People stop thinking for themselves and just start copying the frantic actions of everyone around them. It's why a crowd might stampede toward a single clogged exit while completely ignoring other exits that are wide open. This slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The exact same mental wiring that guides us to a popular restaurant or makes us watch a viral video can, in different circumstances, fuel a bank run or a stock market crash. The underlying instinct is exactly the same. It's only the context and the consequences that change. It's just two sides of the very same human coin. Now, whenever an instinct is this powerful and this predictable, you can bet that someone somewhere has figured out how to make money from it. And, well, marketers and advertisers are absolute masters at triggering our inner herd animal to get us to buy what they're selling. The number one tool in their toolkit is something called social proof. It's this simple, powerful idea that if lots of other people are doing it, then it must be the right thing to do. All those online reviews, those bestseller stickers, celebrity endorsements, they are all signals. They're designed to trigger our fear of missing out and to reassure us that, yes, we're making the correct choice by joining the herd.
This study is such a perfect example. So researchers in California were trying to get people to use less energy, and they tested a few different messages. Appealing to people's wallets, save money, or appealing to their environmental conscience, both had a pretty modest effect. But one message just blew the others out of the water.
So what was that winning message? It was simply telling residents that 77% of their neighbors were already conserving energy. That was the most powerful motivator. It just goes to show you, for many of us, the deepest drive isn't saving money or even saving the planet. It's that simple, powerful fear of being the only one on the block not doing what everyone else is doing. That's social proof in action.
And all this brings us to a pretty loaded word. When people talk about herd behavior in a negative way, they often throw around the term sheeple to criticize anyone who just follows the crowd without thinking. But where did this word even come from? The dictionary defines sheeple as a derogatory term for people who are docile and easily influenced. It's a mashup of sheep and people. And let's be real, it's never meant as a compliment. It's a verbal jab, right? It's meant to call someone out as a mindless follower. And this isn't some new internet slang either. The word actually showed up in print way back in 1945. It popped up again in the 80s to criticize conformist taxpayers, and then it really found its modern voice in the 90s on those late-night radio shows, where it became the go-to insult for a public that was seen as just blindly obedient. So this leaves us with the really crucial question. We've seen that herding is a deep, deep survival instinct. It's a mental shortcut that can be a lifesaver or a total disaster. It can be useful, but it can also be easily manipulated. The challenge for us then isn't to try and fight this instinct. The real challenge is to develop the wisdom to know when the crowd is running toward safety and when it's stampeding right toward the edge of a cliff.